This recording is to cover the first of 4 categories of how existing customers use Excelerator. Fix your Sage data. Excelerator makes good use of the Excel columns and rows. With Excelerator, you can select which columns you want to work with, and you can choose which rows you want to download. Once you have the data in Excel, you can use all of the Excel features. You can use the sort, you can use the filter, you can embed formulas, or you can share your data with your colleagues and get their input. When you're happy that the data is correct, you can load it back up into Sage 200 with a couple of clicks. In this example, I'm going to work with the Sage Ledger customers, and I'm going to start by designing a template, choose which columns I want to work with. I'm going to download the data, make changes, and write it back to Sage again. So when I open the designer, I got a list of all the fields that are available when I'm doing a sales customer entry in Sage 200. So I click where I want the first column to appear, and I tick the boxes or the columns I want to work with. The account number, the name, address line 1, address line 2, the postcode. Now I'll come down a little bit further and I'll add in some contact details. So I'll just work on the first contact. And in here I'll add in the name, first name and last name. And then I'll come down and add in some analysis codes. Once I've selected the columns, the next stage is I choose which rows I want to work with. So I go to my customer and the ribbon and I select download, and it opens up a box and allows me to search for customers or to filter by any of the analysis codes. In this case I want to work with all the customers, so I'll just choose add all and click OK. So what Excelerator is doing at this stage is it's pulling the columns, the information in the columns that I've chosen for the customers I want to work with, and pulls it down onto the spreadsheet. Once it's in Excel, I can start using all of the Excel features. So I'll go to the data ribbon and I click on the filter, and I come into analysis code 2 and say just show me the blank analysis codes 2. Or I can come over and do a sort. I click on the account number and I go to use the sort function, A to Z, and it sorts the customers for me. I'm going to pop into Sage 200 here quickly, and I'm going to go to the Sage Ledger and open up a customer list. So this is the list of the customers I have in Sage 200 at the moment, and as you notice, quite a few of them here are missing the contact names. So I'll go back to my Excel, and in Excelerator I'm going to key in 2 contact names. George Powers and Mary Wilson. While I'm here, I'll quickly have a look. We'll go to analysis code 1 and I do a browse on analysis code 1. And in here I get all the values that are available in analysis code 1. If I go to analysis code 2 and I browse on analysis code 2, I get the values available in analysis code 2. So I can just select a value and I'll just drag down and add a few. So at this stage I'll go to my Excelerator ribbon, I'll go to my customers and I click Save to Sage. And that now saves the data that I have just, the changes I've just made, and saves them off to Sage 200. I'll pop into the Sage 200, and in here the data is not updated until I click a refresh, and now you can see George and Mary have been added into the customer file in Sage 200. So this is the simple Sage data entry. I'm now going to have a look at a more sophisticated level where we get the data already on a template. I'm going to work with my stock. I'm going to reset the stock reorder levels, and I'm going to reset the stock reorder levels based on some information I have on a report from Sage. So I open up and here's my report, and I have a list of my products, and I have a weekly movement of each of the products. Over here to the right hand side I have a set of formulas which calculates for me what the reorder level is. So it starts by calculating the lead demand, and it's using the average weekly demand in order to calculate the lead demand. I then calculate my minimum stock level, and in this instance I'm using standard deviation to calculate my minimum stock level, or my safety stock. I add my lead demand to my minimum stock and I end up with my reorder level, and I compare that to the current Sage reorder level, and I have an average cost to put a value against my inaccurate numbers in Sage, and you can see that I have the value over here on the right hand side, and there's the total, and you can see there's quite a few products in there at the moment. And over here to the right hand side a little bit further, I have a template which I've already predefined or set up, and the template is for stock. I have the product code, the group, the name, the warehouse, the maximum, the minimum level, and the reorder level. And I'm using Excel formulas to pull the information from to the left here on the spreadsheet, so as I don't have to retype anything. So at this stage I've recalculated what my reorder level and my minimum stock level should be, and I can now write it back to Sage. But before I write it back to Sage, I'll just go into the data area and I'll click refresh, so that refreshes the report, and you can see there's no change at this stage to my value. I go back to my Excelerator, I go to the stock and I click save to Sage, and it now writes the correct minimum level and reorder level against each stock item. Once the data is uploaded, I'll go back to my data and I click refresh, and you now see that my stock is no longer overvalued and I got the correct level of stock. So those are two examples of how we can fix your Sage data. One is downloading, using Excelerator to download the data. The other is get the data from another source. Working on inaccurate or incomplete data means unreliable reports can be stress inducing, can be time consuming, and will result in questionable decisions. Excelerator will allow you to fix your data. Accurate data leads to reliable reports, better morale, and informed decisions.